So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week of music here at the RJM Experience podcast with me, Carl Maloney, the host, and our guest today, Harri Larkin. Morning, mate.
Hello. Hi.
Where do we find you today? Where are you?
Today I'm in Cornwall at my mum's
Ah,
housewarming party. Wow.
right. Housewarming party. Have they just bought somewhere new, obviously?
Yeah, she's been doing up a house for a year and now I've got we've rented out portaloos and like fields and there's like hundreds of
Yeah.
people coming.
Hundreds of people coming.
Yeah.
Oh, nice one.
I'm playing a set as well tomorrow.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, it's all happening to it because today it's Friday, so it's all happening tomorrow on the Saturday, then, is it?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, nice.
It's a bit of a weekend thing.
Shindig type thing. Well, I wanted to start off because I do keep a close eye on the Sheffield music scene, and I kept seeing your name pop up, mate. And whenever that happens, I'm like, "Hello, let's have a chat with this new person that I'm seeing all over the internet and that kind of stuff." So yeah, thanks for joining us on the podcast today. I just want to get to know you a little bit, learn about your story and that kind of stuff, and just shoot the shit a bit, if that's all right with you, mate.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, brilliant.
Lovely to be here.
So you live in so you perform Cornwall originally?
Yeah. I'm from the south, from Cornwall.
Yeah, brilliant. So how did how did you pop up in Sheffield? What made you move to sunny Sheffield from grim Cornwall?
Basically, I went to university to do music in Bristol because it was the nearest decent town for music city, and there I met someone, my a girlfriend at the time, and she ended up playing bass for me. And when uni finished, we didn't know where to go, and she said, "Well, instead of going back to Cornwall where there's no jobs, we could go back to mine and earn loads of money for like equipment and stuff." And the point is that was my first introduction to Sheffield. So that didn't work out. I came back, recorded an album here, which was Beach City in Cornwall. And then I realized I needed to go and play it somewhere with music. And I'd seen that Sheffield was a bit like a northern Bristol, and Bristol hadn't worked out. So I decided to go on my own and make a go of it. And that's how I ended up in Sheffield.
So Sheffield, I know just from my personal, I'm from Sheffield originally, if anybody didn't know with this accent. But my wife's from Manchester. She studied in Sheffield. And I was speaking to John McClure at TRAMLINES the other day. His wife that moved to Sheffield. Sheffield keeps people, doesn't it? It grabs people for some reason. Why do you think that is?
It's friendly, and when you get up there and you literally don't know anyone, because when I came up this time I didn't have any connection to that girl that I went up with. I felt like people kind of took me in a bit, and I didn't really know why, but they like warmed to me really quickly. Thought I was nice, thought I was funny. And I love the music and the art. That's why I went, and that's why I stayed. But the people, I think, are what like grab you in, and there's lots to do. It's cool.
Yeah, it is a cool place. It is a cool place. It's very green as well. I live in Manchester now, and when I was over for Tramlines, it's just it's got such a warm place in my heart, Sheffield. That coming back to it and just seeing how green it is compared to what it's like in Manchester, it's just
Yeah, that's
yeah,
a huge plus, because I live right near the beach here, and it's really sad. Like when it gets really hot, I don't know what to do. But when I moved to Sheffield, and then I discovered the peaks because my friend got a car, and then I
yeah.
could go there, and it was really good.
Yeah, well, we're going to come because I watched you at Tramlines on the bloody main stage, mate. I don't know how that happened. We'll come to that story in a bit down the line. But I wanted to catch up with you at Tramlines. It didn't quite work out with his timings and stuff, did it? But I think we'll have a better chat today, and I'm just looking forward to get to know you a little bit. So I just wanted to rewind and go back a little bit. So, how did young Harri get into music originally? When was the first time that you noticed that music's going to be a passion of yours?
Oh, I asked to play guitar when I was like way too small to hold it. I think I was like 5 years old, and Dad was like, wait till you can physically hold a guitar, and then we'll see if in a year or whatever you still want to.
It was just
It took me till I was 9.
Like always drawn towards these things in the corner of the house, type thing.
Yeah, do you know what? It was little things as well. Like when I was in like year six, like Busted came out, and I was completely obsessed with Busted, like really, really obsessed. And I became obsessed with like everybody who I liked as well. It wasn't just a normal like, oh yeah, I really like this band. It was like I know the time and place that each member was born and their favorite food and shit. But so when I was 9, I got my first guitar, and I've been playing like obsessively ever since. So that's how.
So how did you like, is music around in the family home? Is that how you like first started seeing these strange objects in the corner of the room? Is that how you found it? Have you got a musical family?
Yeah, I do actually have a musical family, but in a really weird way. Like, so
Mm,
on my dad's side, they are like really good with piano and organ, and
mm,
they do all the local. Like, imagine a really old Cornish village. My dad's side, they're all farmers, so what they do for like fun and social stuff, go and play organ at the church, go and play music at the Methodist things, and the pantomimes and all of that stuff. But my gramps, he was like grade 8 piano, and he was like a teenager. So that's always been in the family. And then my mum's side's Irish, so lots of singing, lots of
mm.
lots of music in that side. And so it's always been around, but not in the way that I do it. But that's cool, right?
It is cool, isn't it? I love, like, how much, and I mention on this podcast pretty much every bloody week, but just because I speak to music people, it's just when it grabs your music, you can't let it go, can you? It's just one of those things that
Yeah.
you're cursed with in a way.
I know that there's nothing else. I knew very early on there was nothing
Mm,
else that I wanted to do, nothing else I was as good at. And when you're like a little kid and
mm,
you're good at something, it really like builds your confidence, gives you something to go on, and it definitely shaped my identity. When I really needed something to, it felt quite awkward and weird,
yeah.
and I was like little plump ginger kid that didn't know she was gay.
Yeah.
And it really helped me kind of find a way to be accepted, and it took a while. I mean, you're crap for a long time, and then you're just embarrassing, like people are like, haha, she's trying to sing, it's really embarrassing. But then I got good and everyone shut up.
So was it difficult growing up, in Cornwall, and not, without music, you personally?
um I had a rough time at school, no matter where I was, really. It just like when I first started here, because I was in Cornwall in a tiny village. There was one other girl in my year, and she hated me. Like, she used to bully me a lot. But now, funnily enough, like her family's coming to this party tomorrow, so it's funny how time changes. She's lovely now. I'm lovely now. Well,
Yeah.
I was always lovely. I was just getting bullied, but
Yeah. Okay. So did that, has that experience of having a tough time at school, has that helped you with your songwriting? Do you think?
yeah, yeah. Because whilst everyone else was out doing their own thing. Well, to be honest, what do you do when you're younger? You like go out and smoke rollies and
Yeah.
go around in little groups on your scooters, and I don't know.
Bottles of cider involved?
Yeah, but oh yeah, we're Cornish, of course it's bottles of cider. But then I would be like in so because I live on a farm,
Mm,
there was this room above one of the sheds, and when I was like 14, my dad was like, "I'm gonna turn it into a room for your music," and I also play drums and that. We had an old kit in there and everything. So whilst everyone else was out in their like formative social years, 14 to literally when I left for uni, I would be up in that room every night writing songs, and they were always, angsty kind of tunes about how I felt like living in the middle of nowhere and being isolated, and what I wanted. And I wanted to be in the city, and I wanted to have friends and a crew and a tribe and a purpose. And it all just built up and led me to where I am, because I bloody got it.
nice one. Nice one, mate. You seem quite like determined. You've got, from this initial chat on this Zoom call, you seem quite determined. You know what you want, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do with this. Life's a big scary thing, but I know that I want this.
Yeah. And what is, the music industry is one of the most beautiful and harshest industries in the world. How do you prepare for what's to come? I don't know how else to word it.
I don't think, well, I kind of think I've been preparing since I was since I was asking for a guitar when I was too small.
Okay.
And like, I've never questioned what I wanted. There are scary parts, but to me, not having it and not having a thing to aim for is more scary. And not using this thing that I'm good at would be more scary. So there's nothing really to prepare it. Whatever happens, happens. But I know that I will go for it as hard as I can. And I have been for so long that to get to this point and to back down in any way, it's just not an option. It's just like I've been, like I said, I was at uni in Bristol I was there for 5 years, still playing under Harri Larkin. Started writing under Harri Larkin 12 years ago. And obviously I've got to Sheffield and something's clicked. So now I'm just going to hold on for dear life and ride it to wherever it goes. Even if it goes nowhere, it's ride or die now.
Okay. Well, why do you think it didn't click in Bristol?
It could have been the timing. Like I was a bit more pop punk, but that was just because of what I was listening to when I was younger. But the timing, maybe I wasn't ready. But honestly, a lot of the songs that we played on that main stage, I had written for my band in Bristol when I was like 21, 22. And now I'm 28. And that band was like, oh, music's I'm just not passionate about it, you know? And so I had to keep restarting and like find new members in Bristol. And also, nobody would play my music on BBC Introducing in Bristol. When I came home to Cornwall, nobody would play it on Cornwall. And that's why when I recorded the album Beach City, I wasn't letting go of it until I moved to a brand new postcode.
Okay.
And that was part of the move. I was like, right, well, if this is in the way, then I need to overcome that. I'm going to have to move somewhere brand new. I did no research into like the Introducing show at Sheffield, but Christian Carlisle was literally like changed and saved my life without meaning to, because he just simply played what I writ, which is good enough to be played. I don't get why there'd be a 2-hour show every week and like you can't fit in a song that's like a good song. I don't know, but these people have a lot of power, like so much power that most people would have given up, but not me. I just moved.
I love it. I know Christian personally. I know how much of an ambassador for Sheffield music he is, and his passion for. It's the first Tramlines I didn't see him for many years, and we usually like catch up at Tramlines and have a good chat about what's going on and what's the scene in Sheffield, how's it bubbling, and try and get a bit of insight from him because he's so close to it. Because I live in Manchester, I don't feel as close to it as what I used to be, but I look online and I try and see who's coming up in Sheffield all the time because it's just I just want to. And then Harry popped up there you were. So it must have been quite a daunting thing I can't imagine just up in sticks and just moving to a city that I've not researched.
Yeah. Well, I was there for a time.
I'm not brave enough to do that. So talk me through how that came about.
Well, like I said, I'd been there for like a couple months after uni, but that was purely working in the kitchen. I got out to a couple gigs, but it wasn't. I had a small taste. What it was the flyers, walking down the road, seeing all the band flyers, hearing about Tramlines Fringe.
Yeah.
I never got to experience it. That's a lie. Oh, right. Okay. So when I was 22 in Bristol, before my really like the lineup that had like quite a lot of hope in it before everyone left after uni, we did a tour. It was really small and it was very like pointless. But my dad hired like a little camper van and we drove around for a week, literally all over the country, like blowing so much money than it was ever worth. But it was like something I really wanted to do. And we got a spot in 2016 at Hutton's Bar on West Street for Tramlines. And I didn't even realise that I'd played Tramlines before until I was going through my Instagram and I saw the post. And I was like, oh my God. So last year was actually the third year I played Tramlines. Once with my Bristol lineup in 2016. Last year was my second ever gig with the new lineup at the Fringe. And literally 11 months later, we played the main stage. And I don't know, man, twist of fate, bit of luck. But, and people say never give up. Never give up.
Well, like Hutton's Bar, that historically isn't a music venue. It's just like, it's one of those pubs that...
I think it's closed now.
Yeah. Well, I can remember it used to just put stuff on at Tramlines like everybody did because
Yeah.
cashing in on the
Yeah.
fringe and all that kind of stuff, just like one of them pop-up venues. To have that 3 years ago and be on the main stage, I'm definitely going to come to the main stage stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
excited.
that one would have been 6 years ago, Hutton
Oh,
Bar.
yeah. Okay.
Weird.
Where's
So
it go?
weird.
Where's it go?
I don't know. It's lines on the old face.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. So yeah, Christian Carlisle, massive ambassador for Sheffield music, and such a nice guy himself. He's got an eye for talent, and he's obviously spotted. What do you think he spotted in you that other BBC introducing people didn't?
I think that like he loves everybody's music and all the genres. But I think the difference for me is, first of all, I listen to the show all the time, like way more than just when I'm on it or like trying to find my segment. I listen all the time, especially when I moved here, because I wanted to understand what I was getting into. When I turned up this time, I had a serious blueprint of how I was going to approach everything after not getting any plays anywhere else. And I knew that I wanted to make a big impression quite quickly because I don't know, I kind of felt like it was my last real crack at it. And when I was listening to the show, he likes so much stuff. I don't think you can stand out because everybody stands out in their own way, whether you're grunge, rap, whatever. And so I think for me, it was the fact that I had a whole album and that I was just prolifically like banging them in every other week. Like, here's another one. And he played everything. Wow. So I think but that album was a culmination to me, I think, of singles that I'd written from when I was 16 to like 23. Yeah. And he got them all like every week and another one. Ones I would have put out of singles years back, but I saved them all to see if this would work, and it did.
So you mentioned something interesting there. You came to Sheffield with a blueprint.
Yeah, I did.
Talk us through what the blueprint was.
Okay, so with the CD, I knew that the thing that might make me stand out was that I had all these songs ready. And I just could go bang, bang, bang. And once I got there, I quickly mapped out sort of the venues, the local bands. It started out, the blueprint, with go to open mics, put yourself out there, make as many contacts as you can, literally on the bottom level of the scene. And I literally built up and up and up. So then it would be like, go to West Street Live, see who's playing, make friends with people there, like the promoter. I didn't actually make friends with Matt Hume for a long time, but that's a different story. But then after you've played those venues, then it was like, well, who runs Sydney and Matilda? Right, and he must know who runs someone at the Lead Mill. And through trying to get in at the Lead Mill, like a lot of steps forward, I've run into the name Ben Hartley, who ended up booking me for the biggest gig of my life, because I got in touch promoting myself saying, hi Ben, I've had this amount of plays on BBC Introducing this year. I'm told him my story, and I was like, I think I'd be perfect at this stage to open up for some touring bands at the Lead Mill. If here's all my details. And one day I literally just got a call, and he was like, yeah, I'm thinking of booking you for the 22nd of July. I don't even know if he'd ever seen me play. Yeah. And he just we skipped a lot of the blueprint in that one swift move because it didn't even play Lead Mill. Yeah. But my basic plan is I broke it down into sections. I knew that you needed to make acquaintances in this area and that area to unlock the next area. And I thought of it like a video game. Yeah.
Well, because you mentioned Matt Hume there. There is kind of a hierarchy of people within the music industry. I'm always going to end up supporting grassroots music because I just like it down here. It's nice.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Matt Hume there at West Street Live. He was
amazing.
He is amazing. And then you mentioned Sydney and Matilda. So obviously you'll have got to know Paul Tufts.
Yeah, he's amazing. And this is the thing, it is all genuine. I am genuinely like so interested in these people. I care about them. Like they're nice guys. Like it's not this like cold-blooded plan because I live and breathe music all the time. I was out every day at gigs anyway. But it was like, right, how can I be smart about this so that I can get known as fast as possible as someone with no roots in the city? Yeah. Because when you play a gig, your mates might come or your mum might come if it's a big one. So I was playing to like no one, and people from the open mics started to come. And so the first level of the blueprint started to attend the second level of the blueprint. And then as it grew and grew, you know, it shouldn't have worked. It was a stupid dream and I had nothing else to go on. And I just started to do it and it just started to naturally build. And I used to get so excited. My mum would be like, "Hi, how's it going? Are you doing better?" And I'd be like, "Mum, I met the man from Sydney and Matilda and we talked and he said I could play them." She's like, "Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about." But she didn't understand the blueprint was in full swing.
She didn't know about this evil plan you'd got for world domination. Yeah, brilliant. So what kind of advice, like looking back on, you know, meeting, you know, the marvelous Matt Hume from West Street Live and Paul Tufts, what kind of advice did those give? Because they are very vocal and they are very passionate about supporting artists. I know those two guys personally myself, and I know the great work that they do in without those two people, and we'll get on to Ben at the Leadmill shortly, without those two people in the grassroots music scene in Sheffield, you're kind of scrounging around for people like me that put the odd thing on the Frog and Parrot. Without those two, you know, massive individuals in the industry, it's Sheffield, you know.
They're like pillars, cornerstones of the community. And you don't know who they are until you really get in amongst the people who are doing the music and talk and have real conversations and attend other people's gigs. You can't just walk in and extract information out of people. No. Like, you've got to really be, I think, like, my sincerity and stuff is how it's all worked out as well, because I really do love everybody else's music. I'm a massive fan of everyone. It's whether you're playing an open mic somewhere or, you know, you're playing the Leadmill or whatever. So it did quickly work out that people had heard about me through little things, and it just made it easier. So Matt actually got in touch with me, and I didn't know he ran West Street Live, and he just said, "Hi, mate. Me and Christian Carlisle are friends. He told me about your music. He was like, we're massive fans." And do you know what? My drummer, he's like Sheffield local boy. You know him, Dan?
Yeah, I know. He used to drum with Tiny.
Yeah.
Gigs before in Sheffield. Yeah, good lad, him.
Yeah, really good lad. He said to me, because I wanted to play everywhere and anywhere, like for free, whatever. And he said, if you're gonna be taking it seriously and not working yourself to the bone, and you want to be clever about it, I would hold off playing at West Street Live once we got to, because, you know, it's no pay and whatever, but it's a great proving ground, right? And I knew that, so I always went and said, I'll go play it acoustic. But with the band, he was like, we'll hold that one off. And when Matt said to me that he was really good friends with Christian Carlisle, I said to Danton, this is like the only lead I have to this mysterious Christian Carlisle that had started to play our music. I was like, I think it would be really good if he heard from his friend that we were really good live. I think that might help us. So the blueprint it's literally not a real thing, but it's like every time I find a lead, I will like follow it. And he kind of trusts me, and he was like, okay, we can play West Street Live if Matt Hume's there and you want him to mysteriously tell Christian that you're good live. Anyway, I don't know if that happened or not, but me actually meeting Matt was great, and he was such a big supporter, and it made me feel really welcome in the city. And I hope it did get back to Christian, because that was part of my plan.
And then
maybe it didn't. I don't know.
And then Paul Tufts, you know, like I just know from speaking to bands that like even out of Sheffield that come into Sheffield, and they said this sound guy, he were telling me like what I need to do with my sound and me and, you know, with my amps, and turn stuff up, turn stuff down, change that cymbal, everything. You know, Paul Tufts is such an amazing artist himself with sound, and such an experienced person, you know, to play to, because he will give you advice at every opportunity to make you sound better and be the best that you can be. How did you find working with Paul?
Paul was awesome. Like, I went to a jam night at Sydney and Matilda, and he was doing sound, and I knew that I wanted to go and talk to him to just introduce myself. I think I found him online first. I used to just ask people who runs this and whatever. Talk to him online for a bit, and once I knew what he looked like, I went to a thing there so I could introduce myself. And he was really good. Like, I just remember the sound being great. And when I went up for my bit, it sounded so good. Like, the reverb was perfect, sounded really big for whatever. And as time went on, he ended up doing sound for me when I I played in Doncaster with Everly Pregnant Brothers acoustic, and he come up and he was like, "Oh, that set was sounding really good," because he'd seen me play like and develop a bit over like, I don't know, only like 8 months, and having his, I don't know, him tell me that it was going good, and that meant a lot because he sees so many bands every day in the scene. So I don't know, he didn't have to say it sounded really good, but he did. That was good.
Good on you, boys. Keep supporting these artists. If you're it's very much appreciated. And then the call from Ben at the Lead Mill. That must have been a nice call.
Yeah, it was actually a Facebook message, but I think it's not cool. So I was at work in a care home. It's pretty mundane. I do like it though. And it was like 11:30 on a random day. And I'd sent out a message 8 days before, just introducing myself, like I said earlier. Like, hey, this is me. I'm from here. I would love to be, considered to play for touring bands. And just got this message like, "You from Sheffield, mate?" That was the only response. And I said, yeah.
Sussing you out straight away, just checking.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I am from Sheffield. Because you've got to be right to be the open, I don't know, you probably do, to be the opening man. And then like literally just bam, 8 days later, "Hi mate, you free 22nd July?" And I was like, yeah. And he was like, "Make sure that you are though. Don't bail if you say you are."
Is this going to be Tramlines, or is this going to be the? Because I know you supported. I was in town for Sheffield and I wanted to meet you, and you couldn't. I couldn't meet you that night because you were supporting Everly Pregnant Brothers at the Lead Mill. Is this after? Are you going into?
I sound so busy, but I'm not. This gig is that he messaged me about is actually Tramlines.
Oh right.
I'll tell you about the Lead Mill one if you want.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, just let's. I want to build to the Tramlines bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, keep people listening.
Yeah. So, funny thing is that the first when I was 19 and I met this girl that originally said, "I'll come to Sheffield for a bit." Yeah. She like told me about Henderson's relish because like she was like, "I put relish on pies," and I was like thinking of burger relish on pies. I was like, "That's fucking weird," and like she was like, "No." So we talked about that, and she showed me "No Oven, No Pie" and that song about Hendos by Everly Pregnant Brothers. I was 19 and I was like, "This is like hilarious" and whatever. And that was the end of that. And then one day, I get a message from a promoter saying, "Hey, would you like to support Everly Pregnant Brothers at Doncaster?" This was me acoustic.
Yep.
And I was like, "Yeah, of course." Until I got there, I didn't clock it was the guy. Like it was No Oven, No Pie guy. And we met and he picked me up and he drove me.
Was it Big Sean that contacted you?
No, it was a promoter actually.
Oh, the promoter, okay.
But then when I got there, Big Sean was like, "I've loved your stuff for years. I've been playing it all over my little radio show." And people have been showing me it in beer gardens for like a couple of years, like mutual people that we knew sort of. And he was like, "So I asked specifically if you could support us." And basically met everyone there. I was like totally blown away. I was like, "Oh my God, it's the drummer from Pulp. Oh my God, it's Pete McKee." Like I didn't even know who Pete McKee was. I just knew he was the artist man.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to him all evening and they were like in the wings whilst I played my song, and I was in their dressing room, and that to me it was mad.
Yeah.
And then they bought like CDs and I was like, "What's your name again, mate?" And he was like, "Pete." And I was like, "You're Pete McKee. Oh my God." I'm not very cool in person. No, I'm just very like anyway. And then like a couple of weeks later I got a message after it was a great gig and Paul Tufts had done the sound and it was Sean, and he said, "You're right, mate. We're doing our big like Lead Mill show live and electric. It's completely sold out in the main room, like 900 people, and it was a no-brainer. Like, we want you and your full band to support us." And that was all through literally because he liked my songs, and then he asked me and I went and played a blinder, and then he was like, "Right, you're all coming back for our, what was it, like delayed for 2 years because of COVID, big old gig at the Lead Mill." And just like, what?
How do you feel like all the news stories that are going around about the Lead Mill at the minute?
Do you mean like the shutting down of the Lead Mill?
Potentially the closure of this iconic venue. Like, you know, for me, the Lead Mill is like the bedrock of Sheffield music. I've played there many a times. I've supported with my bands, Rick Witter. I've supported Spiral Carpets through the years, and
no way, Spiral Carpets. That's
yeah, cool. Man.
That's really cool.
And I played the smaller room loads of times, just playing in the band and other Sheffield bands, and just spending a lot of nights drinking really bad vodka there, just being out and about with all my mates and that kind of stuff. And you know, to even think about that venue might not be there in the future is just a little bit upsetting.
Yeah, that it is completely tragic, because even when I was in Bristol, I'd heard stories of the lead mill. And when my dad in Cornwall in a local old pub was saying, "Oh, Haz has got this gig at a place called the Lead Mill," people were like, "The Lead Mill? She's going to be famous." Like, because
Yeah.
everybody's heard of it, even an old man in a bloody pub round here. But yeah, everyone's heard of the Lead Mill. And sadly, the news of the eviction came out the week that I played it, like the week after, literally like 4 or 5 days after we played. And it was crazy because, first of all, I was really sad. I felt really lucky that I'd got to play it. And then I just felt really sad that I wouldn't ever get to play it as like Harri Larkin show. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, what about all these bands in the scene that have been working for years, like with the dream to get in their show at the Lead Mill? Because it becomes a dream, doesn't it? It's like a big deal, especially to any local guy or girl. And I felt so lucky to have played it, especially the big room, man. Like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel sorry for everybody in the scene, and not in the scene, because it's a part of not just like Sheffield culture, but I'd probably say like English music culture. It's embedded in it. So there's nothing really sadder than losing that bit of heritage.
Fingers crossed it all works itself out. I've not heard any updates on it lately, but I'm sure Sheffield will have its way. It's got there's something about it, Sheffield, that, you know, it feels like the people are coming together to try and make something happen. So fingers crossed.
I hope so. I signed that petition. I'm sure you signed that petition.
I've signed it many times and promoted it, and hopefully get people signing it.
Yeah, man. Well, fingers crossed. Honestly, it would be devastating. I know that I've only been here a couple of years, but need to keep that.
Too right. So the evil plan is coming together.
Probably not now. I'm just telling everyone my plan. They'll be like, right. No.
So you come to Sheffield, you worked your way up through the industry, doing it the right way, you know, being supportive of other people, which is a massive thing for anybody to. If anybody's looking for a tip on how to progress, just go out there and support other people. That'll help you more than anything else in the industry, I think. No
one's going to give a shit what you're doing if you're rude or you're insincere, or it's just not a good look.
Yeah. And so the plans come together, and then you got this call from Ben, the lovely Ben at the Lead Mill, around, you know, because when I saw you announce it, that you're playing the main stage of fucking Tramlines, I'm like, how the fucking hell's that happened? Talk me through. So we're kind of like, I know now, but just talk me through, you know, what that experience was like and finding that out. And I presume you had to keep it quiet for a bit as well, which will have been hard work.
Wow. Funny thing is, it was like a dream. So like I said, I'm at work, I'm at the care home, boring, pissing it down with rain.
Yes.
Sat dwindling on my phone. Yes. Bing, are you free? And he said, no, seriously, make sure you're free before you confirm this gig. And genuinely, throughout the whole conversation, I thought we were talking about the Fringe at the Lead Mill. And I said, yeah, my band are free. But I replied too quickly, and he was like, no, actually check, they're free. And I was calling them, they weren't answering. I was like, they're free, because actually they were going to be free. Whatever it was, they were going to be free. We're all in an understanding that for whatever, if Ben Hartley wants us for something, we're going to be free. So I said yes, and then I think it was like a couple hours of back and forth and with details. And I said at the end, I was like, so are you talking about the Lead Mill stage in Hillsborough Park, or are you talking about the Lead Mill Fringe, like the main room?
Yeah.
And he was like, main stage in Hillsborough Park. And I literally burst into tears. I literally burst into tears. That was never a part of the blueprint. That's got me now. It's like such a big moment. Like, I was at work and they were like, you know, you can go outside and like, you know, take it in, because I was like weeping, like washing the dishes, just like, oh my God. And I was trying to call my band, because like I said, I couldn't get hold of them. I was like, answer the phone, like answer the phone. And I was like, guys, I have the biggest news ever. You have to answer the phone. Nobody, well, my drummer didn't get back to me for hours and hours and hours. My mum, my dad, nobody answered the phone. So I was at work, like having, like, I don't know, it was just like, it's the maddest feeling ever. And he basically had said, I need to know for sure within like an hour. So I found out on the shift at around 11, 12. At 5 p.m, the official poster came out with my name on it, with sound, with everything. And that it was obviously like, if I hadn't replied, or if I hadn't said my band were free at that time, you'd have had to call someone else. If I hadn't been using my phone on shift, and from now on, I will always go on my phone on shift.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Oh, it's insane. It's absolutely insane, Carl.
So why do you think Ben, you know, had so much faith in you to do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I assume word of mouth. By this point, I've been really, when I say, like, part of the blueprint is working so hard on your admin, so many emails, so many people in your contacts. And I think by that point, people had started talking about me, which was great. Like, obviously, I think we'd had like 8 plays on BBC Introducing that year, which actually is quite a standout fact on its own. Yeah. And it was 8 days before he messaged me that I'd sent him my bio. So obviously I was fresh on the mind. He probably cross-checked with someone that everything I'd said was true. And if he had talked to any of the people, they probably would have said, oh yeah, she's really good live, or oh yeah, I do play her songs all the time. And then it'll have been like, cool. Because our vibe is really summery. It's like an acoustic beachy album, but it's good for a summer festival. Yeah.
So the day came round. Talk me through the day of Tramlines, the main stage. It's gone cold. Just talk me through the day, waking up, and you know, the process of getting your accreditation and then walking around to that big fucking building that's in the park now. Talk us through what it was like. How did the guys react to the news that they're playing main stage? By the way, did anybody have anything on, and you had to make them cancel stuff?
No, like people would have like cancelled their.
Yes, yeah, I know. Yeah,
we were going to play.
Yeah. So what were the band's reaction like to the news? Just
all right. So Danton just didn't believe. Like he was like, "What? I don't get what you're trying to tell me." I was like, "What is the biggest stage or the thing you would want to do more than anything as a band in Sheffield?" He was like, "I don't know. What are you on about, chick? I've got to go." I was like, "Look, we're playing fucking main stage Tramlines." He was like, "What?" Like, just literally was not processing. I had to screenshot the chat, and he was like, "Who booked you?" Like, thinking I was lying. I was like, "Ben Hartley." He was like, "Ben Hartley." It's like, "Send it to me." And then he just messaged me, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, brilliant.
But then he just went offline, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just deal with this on my own." Like, I was like, I don't know. You can hear from the story that this is like the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And then Oscar, our bass player, didn't reply all day. He replied after the bloody poster had come out. So,
what did he see the poster first?
That would be a romantic way of
okay, yeah.
But I don't know if I don't think he'd have looked at the poster. But yeah, the poster was out. I sent him the poster that was already out to tell him that we were playing.
Wow, that's
like,
great.
Yeah, he just replied, "What?" And I was like, "I'm looking for a bit more. If anyone wants to call me and scream, that'd be great." Just like
nice. So that day came around then. So what time did you get? Did you sleep the night before? Did you, you know, is it one of them? Is it like Christmas Day again when you were a kid? It must have been.
It was like
that
Christmas.
kind of vibe.
Yeah, it was. So my little sister, that was the wild card. Was me and my sister sing so good together. And I really wanted her to do it with me, just because what a cool thing you can give to your sister, like that experience, and to do it together, and we'll remember it forever. So we only had 2 rehearsals together before, and that was the scary part. But she came up the night before. She helped me pick my outfit. I was like, you know, I went for a haircut. I was like, it's way too short. She was like, "Don't worry, we'll tie a bandana around it. You wear this." Like, everything I was panicking about. And we did our rehearsal once, and it sounded great. And she was like, "Right, let's stop rehearsing. Let's chill. Let's go to bed." And we went to bed, and like 4 hours later, I was still in bed like this. Like, what? And me and Oscar and Danton were texting each other like, "It's tomorrow," and like, it's really happening, you know, because we found out in November, and it was July. It's quite a lot of build up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got in the car. Danton picked us up. We did like 3 gear checks that we had everything. We like went and got coffee, and we were just like shown to our dressing room, and it was in Hillsborough Stadium, like in those glass boxes over the pitch, and it was like
I was
so
interviewing
magical.
Shed 7 and I saw your name on one of the boxes. And I'm like, oh, good on you.
I'm still not over it, obviously.
Yeah.
Why would you be over it? I'll never be over it.
So
But
did you get like a buggy to take you to the main stage and stuff? That's what.
yeah,
That's
we
like.
had like a van. That was cool. I got in the van because we'd left something behind, and I looked behind me and I started talking to these people. And I was like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing here?" Or they were like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "Oh, we're playing first. Like this is such a big deal. Like what are you doing here?" They were like, "Oh, we're Declan McKenna's band." I was like,
Ah.
of course you are." Funnily enough, I got to tell the drummer the little anecdote about they played the O2 and it was rammed. And I'm not normally a bitch, but I absolutely love Declan McKenna. And it was like a present for my girlfriend. So I was like, right, I'm going to get us to the front by telling everyone that the drummer's my sister. So we did. We got to the front. And I was like, "Oh, she's your sister. Go, go, go." I was like, "Thank you so much. Like, we really appreciate it." And then like I'm sat there talking to the drummer. I was like, "Mate, I told everyone you and my sister to get to the front." She was like, "That's fucking hilarious." But we bonded over being from the south. And then she was like, "I'll come watch your set." And then when we finished, we had a guy filming it all. And he was like, "I just spoke to Declan McKenna. He said that your set was good." I was like, "Oh, amazing." Yeah, it's just funny. It was such a weird day.
What was it like walking out onto the main stage for the first time, just for your sound check and that kind of stuff?
That was weirdly really fun. Now the whole thing was fun. I thought, it is a bit intimidating when everyone's. I think we walked out and Sam Fender's band were like sound checking round the sides, and that was like they were like, "Dude, that's Sam Fender's band," and I was like, "Oh my god, what?" But I kept my cool, man. We just went and we did our thing, and it's so much easier to go through the motions when you're there. But yeah, it can easily get like nerve-wracking because
I can imagine, mate. I can imagine.
it's like a whole orchestrated business, and you're just like, you walk into the eye of the storm, and everyone's like, "You go here, right? You wait there, right? We're going to need this, that, and that." And I'm just like, I don't know. I just did my thing, and it went really well, and we had a great time. Like even at sound check, we were laughing and just looking at each other like, "This is nuts." Like it wasn't lost on us how nuts it is. And I'm not stupid enough to think that I'll ever get the opportunity to play on a stage like that again. But there's not
the plan. Remember the plan. The plan's going to plan so far. You never know. It might be a few of them coming up.
The plan sort of ends here. I've got to make a new one now.
Right. Okay.
It was just like Sheffield domination plan. It's not Wales, but also I didn't actually think it would work, and I haven't thought past this point. World domination sounds pretty terrifying. I don't know if I'm up to it.
Fair enough. Well, I was there. I came to see you to play on that main stage. I can remember I just finished an interview with Shed 7, running over and just saying she's on. Piled down to the front. Really enjoyed it. You gave a lot of love to the gingers in the crowd.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah, that was always fun, and a lot of the crowd. You're really engaging. The being part of the crowd and watching on that big stage. I felt engaged with you as an artist. How do you how do you do that?
I literally just try and tell people how I'm feeling or what the song was about, and because everything about my project is so personal, whether it's my sister's up there, every song is about an experience I can specifically remember, and if I want any song that fits to the moment, I will tell that story and bring people a little closer into like my life or people and situations in my life, and make people feel like they were there, or like it reminds them of something that happened to them. And I really am just so grateful, happy, and like proud to be there. That I don't know, I think people just like they like that, they relate to it. I'm very human. I'm a bit goofy and a bit overwhelmed, but that's because it's fucking crazy. Like I can't believe people even want to listen to what I do, let alone like stand in a field and watch me. And there's other people.
People like real people. You're a real person. You're a talented person. You're honest. You're open about everything. All those things make you engaging in my eyes. Well done.
Thank you very much.
So where do you see yourself now in the industry? What kind of what comes next after that? I'm moving my arms like that because I don't really know what to say.
Yeah, well now we need to take a little break because I pushed the
Yes.
guys really quite hard.
Yeah, fair.
To get to this point, and like they're such good musicians that it's fine, but they have like lives, and my bass player's married, and my whatever, everyone's got their own thing.
Yeah.
So really we're going to take a step back, work on a whole new set, because this set we've been playing for Tramlines, we've been rehearsing for ages, and it's good for the band to be refreshed. I've got so much more many more songs. We've just been working on these to get them like perfect, but we're going to new set. I've got new material, and we've got a single coming out. The next thing to focus on is the new single, because everything that we have played to get to this point has been music that I recorded 4 years ago on my own. So there's nothing of them out there yet, and they've already played Tramline's main stage. So it's time to now introduce the guys. And yeah, we recorded this song. I love it. It's a song I wrote over lockdown, but the way we write is I do write the songs, bring it to the lads, and then they put their whole like groovy, fresh, funky twist on it. They're such a unit. And when we put that out, I think it's going to be a whole new era. The production of it's going to be like different. Beach City was an acoustic full band album, and this one's not. Like, bring out the electric guitar and my pedals. As you saw at the gig, I got a lot of pedals and stuff. And really just shine through in this whole new way. We've even got like a lot more twists of like grunge and jazz, and it's going to be weird. It's going to be awesome.
It's very much something to look forward to. I'll put links to all your socials and everything, so people watching this that are enjoying, you know, meeting Harri for the first time, you can get involved with Harri's socials, so I just get attacked by a fly.
Yeah.
Is there?
Not cool, is it?
It's fine. We've all been there. We've all been there. I've been in France for the last week, and I got bit by a horsefly.
They're the worst.
It had two like dots in my arm, annoying my leg, and it was just like, oh god, this is gonna blow up. But nothing happened, so I'm immune to horseflies. I'm not being like,
horsefly fly.
Yeah, man. So, is there anything else that you want to share with, you know, Harri Larkin fans out there just before we let you get on with your day? And I know you've got a big weekend with the family down in Cornwall this weekend to look forward to too. So is there anything you'd like to share before we let you crack on with a lovely weekend with your family?
So we've got a gig with Blackwaters, the amazing Blackwaters at Yellow Arch in September. You can find all the like links and stuff on our social media. If you
I'll put the link in the description. We'll send people straight there.
Yeah, go to the websites and check it out. We've got our music online, new single out 26th of August. And really just, if you have actually started following me and give a damn, thank you so much. There's so much more to come, and it's been real.
All right, I've really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit more today. Next time I'm in Sheffield, I'll let you know, and we'll
go for a drink.
We'll have a drink and say hello in real life.
Thank you so much, Carl.
Welcome, mate. Is there anything else? Yeah, thank you.